Hello, hello. Welcome to day 1183 of Connecting the Thoughts. Code for today is sometimes silence says it all. Code for today is sometimes silence says it all. And what do I mean by that? Have you ever been in that situation where you are expecting for someone to say something and they don't? And still you receive a message. They might not say it out, however you still receive from them, because either you are so very strongly in tuned with them, or you are making an assumption. Yes, it's a little tricky which one it is, and we don't really know. Hello, hello, Gopalan. So, what is it about silence, and what is it that can be sometimes said even without using words? We will look more on this side of the conversation. We will look more deeply at this quote on the other side of the show reel. Do tag a friend who needs to receive the message, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Welcome back to the conversation. Code for today is sometimes silence says it all. And what do I mean by that? Sometimes I feel in conversations it's important to observe silence, and sometimes it's also important to see how you are interpreting that silence. Because silence, your interpretation of someone else's silence, could be the right thing, or it could be an assumption. And if someone chooses, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Arsu. So, if someone is looking for some clarity in a relationship, in a conversation, it's great to observe silence, because I feel that sometimes our words tend to tangle things up. We tend to speak more and do less, and then that leads to a lot of confusion. So sometimes when you are in a sticky situation, silence could be the answer, because silence is a beautiful way of conveying lots of stuff without using a single word. And silence could be uneasy for some people, and you might want to ask yourself, if someone's silence is making you uneasy, what could that be saying about you? What could be the reason? Silence gives you so much room. Silence gives you the room to think about yourself. Silence gives you the room to think about the other person. Silence also gives you the room to understand the whole situation. So it's like about you, about me, about the situation itself at large. So thank you so much. So, I'd like to ask you, have you ever used silence to your benefit? Have you ever used silence to convey a message? And parents often do that, teachers often do that. When a child is in trouble, when your little one is in trouble, I've given my children the silent treatment, and they know that, oh, I'm now in trouble, or I need to do something about what I've done. It's, and you don't even have to say anything. There's so much that can be conveyed through silence. So that's what I mean when I say sometimes silence says it all. Now, this is one way that you could use silence. Now, on the flip side of the equation, if you were expecting support from a friend, if you were expecting that validation from someone, if you were looking for them to be by your side, yet they didn't show up, or they didn't speak up for you, silence there again says so much, right? There again says so much about your expectations, and about the presence of that person in your world, and your importance, or your part in their world, or in their life, or however. So silence definitely says a lot. So make sure that you're using your silence accurately. Make sure that you're presenting your silence in a space where there is respect for it, there is trust for it. Again, if you are using silence in an unestablished relationship, then things could go a little downhill. They could kind of eat away on the relationship. So make sure that you are using your silence effectively. Gopalan says, yes, the silent treatment. Wonder why it's known as a treatment. Love to hear your thoughts on this. I think it's used as a treatment because when you go silent, then you're kind of working through something. It's a treatment. So when you are applying something on, if you have a burn or something that's gone wrong, if you are applying it as a treatment, then it takes time. It takes time to kind of work its way through. Sometimes it takes time when you are silent with somebody. It takes time for them to pick it up, even because they someone who's a bit talkative, when they go silent, it takes a while. I think sometimes it takes a while for the person to realize, oh, I've gone silent, so I wonder what that means. That treatment takes a little time to kind of set in and then begin to work its magic. Maybe that's why it's called silent treatment. And of course, not just happens with parent child, also happens with spouse, with your spouse, with your best friends. We tend to do this. We tend to try pushing our boundaries and seeing, okay, what could happen if I went silent on this person? Would this person notice? Sometimes, and which brings me to the third part of silence. Sometimes we tend to go silent on people just to notice whether they are noticing. I tend to do that. I mean, you go silent on a person and just to observe, what does that silence do to a person? Because if my silence has no impact on you, that probably also means my words also have no impact on you. So different ways of looking at silence, different spaces in which, different pockets of life in which we can use silence in different ways, and different perspectives of silence itself. So I would now like to go silent so that you can think about what silence means to you. The question I'm asking you is, what does silence mean to you? Because yes, sometimes it could be, as I said, it says so much. So what is silence? When someone gives you silence, what does that say to you? How does that make you feel? Um, what what does it bring up for you in terms of emotions? Does it cause unease? Does it cause anxiety? Does it cause a level of uncertainty, not knowingness in terms of what's going on here? Or have you built that relationship with that person so powerfully that even their silence speaks to you and you can interpret it so accurately? And if you can't interpret it so accurately, do you have the courage within you to step up your game and to go up to that person and ask them, what's going on here? Or do you assume and get tangled in the silence? Lots of questions, yes, I know, but this is how I see silence. I see silence as a space that creates so much that is possible. Sometimes, as I said, silence says it all. So when you give someone a pocket of silence, there is so much that can be interpreted from it. And I do wish that these interpretations just make your relationships stronger, not just with others, but also with yourself. Wish you more power. And Gopalan says it could be a non-verbal response to how they feel about being treated. Absolutely. So, yes, that too. And if this conversation has been of value to you, please write in comments saying, I am powerful. Just simple. A simple affirmation. Let's use the power of I am and say, I am powerful, because I truly think that silence is powerful. More on this later. In comments, please put in comments what your thoughts are about silence. Tag a friend who needs to receive this message. Maybe someone who's gone silent, or maybe someone who just won't stop talking. More. See you tomorrow. Until tomorrow, keep smiling, keep shining, stay safe, and thank you for connecting the thoughts with me. Thank you so much.